Flooding in the Mekong Delta, a global approach. Hi, I'm Anu and I'm here with my team from San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Kaira.
Hi, I'm Felix.
And I'm Kyan.
Our problem is the Mekong Delta, home to over 21 million, faces severe flooding and food insecurity at the mercy of a network of upstream dams controlled by China. The Mekong River begins on the Tibetan Plateau in China and runs for more than 2,600 miles through Southeast Asia and ends at the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, where we will be focusing. The Mekong Delta was originally formed by sediment deposited by the river over the course of 6,000 years. This created a perfect fertile environment for the development of rice paddies and fisheries. Now, the delta is one of the most densely populated areas in the country, acting as the predominant rice-growing zone in the region and providing 20% of the world's freshwater fish catch. Despite the flourishing life in the delta, 1.6 million people have left the region over the last decade. This is due to the severe flooding and food insecurity forcing people to abandon businesses and livelihoods.
The government-funded hydroelectric dams controlled by China wreak havoc, compounding problems downstream. These dams are holding back more than 12 trillion gallons of water, trapping vital sediments and preventing fish passage. If all the 40-plus planned dam projects in the region are built by 2030, net economic damage could reach $7.3 billion, including the value of the massive amounts of energy the dams produce. Here is an example of one of China's hydroelectric dams. Before the construction of dams, the Mekong River had about 160 million tons of sediment flowing through it per year. Now, China's upstream dams are trapping 96% of sediment, leaving a mere 4% to reach the lower regions. The lack of sediment is causing urban areas to sink up to 20 to 40 millimeters each year. With the delta's position only 0.8 meters above sea level, a rapidly sinking region, and a sea level that climbs 5 millimeters annually, the entire delta could be submerged by 2100, destroying the lives of almost 18 million. The Mekong Delta's increase in flooding is partially a result of China's refusal to release water in the upper Mekong River. It has caused the worst drought in the delta in a century. This leads to dry soil being unable to absorb the increase in heavy rains caused by climate change, leading to erratic flash floods instead of the consistent flood season the region relies on. All we want is more fish so that we can survive. The lack of water and interrupted fish migration as a result of the upstream dams have led to a devastating fish decline all along the Mekong River. Unfortunately, it is not so easy to ask China to upgrade the dams they've installed. China uses its hydroelectric dams to provide a large portion of its electricity, store water for future use, and to put political pressure on countries downstream.
Current solutions are not enough. While the locals are building dams, dikes, and other mechanisms to combat flooding, it is insufficient and they are in need of a more permanent solution. Our solution. Through new regional and global partnerships, China will be incentivized to update dam technology, including the release of sediments trapped by dams, the installation of the whoosh fish passage system, and the coordinated release of water in reservoirs. Our fish migration solution. Fish need to be able to pass through dams so they can swim upstream to spawn and so juveniles can migrate back downstream. However, traditional fish ladders will not work as the Mekong is home to over 1,300 different species of fish, each with different physical capabilities and different behaviors. A system designed by Whoosh Industries that literally shoots fish over the dam can greatly increase fish passage while costing the UN only $2 to $4 million per dam and providing fish data for the Mekong River Commission. Turbidity current venting relies on the behavior of dense sedimentary currents that can flow without affecting the clear water. A single turbidity current vent can capture 60% of all sediments. We propose a two-vent solution, with one vent where the river feeds into the reservoir and the second vent at the lowest point of the reservoir, each with control valves. This will deal with sediment flow entering the reservoir and the sediments that will and have already gathered at the bottom. The system will cost $5 to $10 million, depending on the size of the reservoir, already paying for itself in extra reservoir capacity and the protection of dam equipment. Bringing water, fish, and sediments back to the Mekong River will greatly benefit Vietnam and its neighboring countries, Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia. This includes increased crop growth, a revitalized fish population thanks to increased aquatic plant life, and the release of fertile sediments that raise the level of the delta, addressing flooding. Though numerous initiatives have attempted to solve environmental issues in the Mekong Delta, many have seen limited success due to the lack of collaboration among groups and nations. The Mekong River Commission has spearheaded many sustainability efforts, though it is missing a key global player, China. By inviting China to the Commission, we hope that all countries involved will share key information, especially pertaining to the release of water from upstream dams. This would stabilize flood patterns in the region and prevent ecological catastrophe. To encourage this new partnership, the United Nations will pledge $10 million per dam along the Mekong to fund the earlier discussed technological improvements.
Currently, China's major reservoirs are losing capacity at an annual rate of 2.3% because of trapped sediment, as well as further losing efficiency due to sediments damaging equipment. Thus, our proposed dam improvements would greatly increase efficiency and electrical output. In addition, China would receive 2% of the recovered fish and rice production from the other Mekong River Commission member countries as conditions improve downstream, amounting to 6.8 million pounds of fish annually just from Vietnam. This partnership will help China in its efforts to establish itself as a global team player. Here we lay out a 6-year plan for improvements. We hope to see China making its first steps starting in 2020. 2 years later, we expect the fish migration system to be fully functional, transporting fish across China's towering dams. By 2024, we plan to have completed the construction of the turbidity current venting systems, and finally in 2026, we hope that the Mekong River will be restored to its original ecological functionality so that lower basin countries can begin their annual 2% distribution of fish and rice to China. Thus far, we have focused solely on preventative solutions for the Mekong Delta. However, it is inevitable that natural disasters continue while improvements are being made, not just in the region, but across the globe. We propose that the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change create the Global Climate Equity Fund to support reactive measures in developing countries that carry the burden of climate change. We are not the first with this idea. In fact, the UNFCCC already manages a similar fund, the Green Climate Fund. However, this existing fund relies on voluntary contributions by political leaders and has faced criticism in its distribution. Our fund will require countries to contribute based on their emissions. The rate will start low, only 50 cents per metric ton emitted, but this will still raise at least $15 billion that will be distributed through a weighted index system with a focus on equity. Each year, money from the equity fund will be reserved for climate-related disaster response in countries that need it most.
No solution comes without challenges. We may face challenges such as China's willingness to cooperate with its neighboring countries around the Mekong River, all countries practicing diplomatic honesty, and the UN enforcement in ensuring countries tax their highest emitting corporations. While our solution is catered to fit the needs of the Mekong Delta specifically, we believe that with slight alterations, the mechanics and policies we have discussed would prevent the need for migration due to coastal flooding in other parts of Southeast Asia and improve dam efficiency across the world. With our technology, countries and governments could increase their dam efficiency by draining sediments left at the bottom of dams. In addition, our Global Equity Fund can be used to reactively repair damages in flooding and other natural disasters worldwide.
Though environmental conditions clearly displace these people, it is incredibly difficult to define a climate refugee because displacement is caused by a multitude of factors, such as government infrastructure, safety, and food security. By investing in preventative technology, we can find the root cause of displacement rather than solely reacting. Climate change and its effects are inevitable, but by leveraging collaboration and technology, we can improve the quality of life for millions. Thank you for listening.